Good evening, viewers. Welcome to a very special, I will call it a very, very special interview with the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Abdoulaye Sanyang. This is the first ever interview that Mr. Sanyang have granted to any media house in this country since his appointment as the Inspector General of Police. We are very pleased and privileged to be accorded this interview. Without not taking much time, I welcome Mr. Abdoulaye Sanyang, who is a brother, a friend to QTV. And I don't call this an interview. This is a chat with my brother Sanyang. Welcome to this very special interview, we say it, with the Inspector General of Police, Abdoulaye Sanyang.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sidi. Yes, indeed he is a brother. And then since my appointment as the Inspector General of Police, I've never talked to any media, though my public relations officers and my staffs, press conference and the like, but this is the first time I'm granting this interview to you. So you consider yourself very special to me.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sanyang. Indeed, we are very special. As a television station, and my very self, I'm not special, but I'm very lucky. Thank you very much, Mr. Sanyang. You're not new, you're a household name, because you're one person who has spent quite a number of years in the police. Just briefly, tell us what brought you into the Gambia Police Force.
That's a difficult question. Actually, I think it's passion.
Okay.
My uncle or my stepdad was a police officer, almost passed. My father's younger brother, Sule, is also a very famous police officer. I'm the lieutenant and went to France and wanted me to be a police officer. My dad don't want me to be a police officer. My dad wanted me to be a doctor. So that's why it was even difficult for me to read law. Actually, before my dad passed away, I read law, then become a lawyer. But back to the question, what brought me to be a police officer? I think it's passion. So after my graduation in 1992, HTC English and French, taught for 1 year at Fatima High School, and then I decided to join the force. That was in 1993, so I joined as a cadet. In fact, as a recruit, after 2 years I was made a cadet. So a few years later, I think a year or two, I was the public relations officer of the Gambia Police Force because of my background, English and French. That was in 1994, 1995, after the takeover. So I can say it's passion. And
thank you.
Currently,
so
I don't think I would do any other job other than being a police officer.
And you're
30 years on.
And you're doing a very good job with it.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. As a head of a police in the Gambia, Gambia is not unique as far as, when it comes to political influence and political pressure as far as politics and policing is concerned. How do you manage the pressure, if there is any?
I will consider myself to be the luckiest Inspector General of Police in terms of political interference, because I was here 30 years ago. I'll consider myself to be a very lucky person because I was in the police administration from 94 to date. In fact, I serve as the Chief of Admin for almost all the Inspector General of Police that serve under Yahya Jammeh. So I was key to the operation of the Gambia Police Force. I know the in and out. I know the police in my fingertips. So I know what was happening during those days and I know what is happening now. But as far as I'm concerned, as Inspector General of Police, there is no political interference between me and the current government. I do things as I deem fit, as per the law, full stop.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sanyang. The fundamental police mission in a democratic society includes the 5 components: enforcing the law, especially the criminal law, investigating crime, apprehending offenders, preventing crime, helping to ensure domestic and whatever threat you may have in the country, and providing community safety. As the Inspector General of Police, as you sit in this chair today, talking to the Gambian people, how are you doing in that?
We are doing great. I think we're doing what we can. Though it's very difficult, because knowing where we're coming from and where we are and where we want to go is very tough. Because if you look at the Gambia Police Force today, we definitely lack the capacity. That's one area that we are working on. We also, in terms of logistics, also we are on the finance. So struggling with those kind of problems. So to police a democratic state is very definitely difficult. But I will say we are doing our best. And as far as I'm concerned, and as far as the Gambia Police Force is concerned, I think we have the safest environment in Africa. If you look at the crime rate in the Gambia, sometimes the social media, people need to understand. During the former days, there is no social media. But now, even a chicken or something died in a home is in the social media. People think Gambia crime is going high. No, there is no crime rate. The crime rate in Gambia is very low. Even when we come up with this Operation Zero Crime, what we are talking, there was a lot of, people think there was a lot of armed robbery, there was a lot of breaking. Well, let me tell you, the total number is 21 per week, countrywide. If you divide it into days, it just means 3 breakings per day, countrywide.
So if I understand, are you qualifying that you have
the minimum crime rate in Africa compared to any country?
But other critics will say you don't have the best data collection mechanism.
Let me tell you one thing. As far as the Gambia Police Force, every case that is reported in every station, we have it 24 hours. That's what we call the 24-hour daily report. Every station has to give us all the crime reported on a daily basis, 24 hours, without fail.
So when you talk about preventing the crime and also investigating crime...
So I just want to clear this thing. Telling that we don't have the data, that's not true.
Okay. We're having this frank discussion.
Every single case that is reported in the police station, the next day it is on my desk. We have what we call 24-hour crime report.
In terms of investigating crime, you talked about burglary. I mean, we've seen where your officers, like you have said, you have issues with capacity, and that doesn't on the human resource only, but also in terms of equipment and all that. Investigating those crimes, like the forensic, for example, picking fingerprints, for example, taking DNAs in crime scenes and crime scene management. We've seen a bit of limitation as far as your men and women are concerned. What are you actually doing? Because you cannot fight crime if those things are not in place, and that's very fundamental.
Yeah, you are very right. When I talk of capacity, now the cybercrime, and then some of these forensic issues. Now, if we want to solve crime, we are now in this forensic world. We don't have the capacity. We have a limited capacity. Not actually we are zero. We have a limited capacity which we are playing with, and sometimes what we do, we try to use the Senegalese or the Ghanaians. Like a right example is the Bob Keita case. We consulted our Ghanaian colleagues and then they solved the problem. That was a case we consulted our Senegalese colleague. They resolved the issue. That was a case, I think the Ghanaian did about 2 for us. So that is true. But, most of the cases here, like every murder case that happened in the country here, we solve it. We apprehend the suspect, and then we can only apprehend, build a case file, and take it to the court. What left is the court, not us. Sometimes people will say, I heard people talking about this case is still pending. It's not our issue. That's the issue of the court. The court are independent. All we can do is to proceed to the court and present our case. So how it is handled at the court is not our issue. So, and then look at, I didn't see any serious case. 95% of the cases that are reported are resolved. You will agree with me. There is nowhere.
I've come across quite a lot of cases where arrests have been made.
There is nowhere in the world where every case that is reported is solved. No. Some case will take even ages.
Yes.
And then people also need to allow the Gambia police force to do our investigation and do our job. But you know why I'm not.
When you talked about people need to allow, can you be specific here?
Yes, sometimes.
Because earlier you say you have no non-interference.
You know, what I'm saying, not from the government, it's from the social media. The police will be investigating XYZ, people will start talking XYZ, they don't even know the nitty-gritty of what is happening. All right? So sometimes investigation will take too long.
So is it because you are not actually doing a lot of outreach to educate the people?
No.
Because, you know, I see a few cases that appeared on social media, on WhatsApp and, you know, you call it, where serious crimes have been occurred, where the police supposed to be the first people to be on site, on scene, to manage that crime scene, take the evidence, but people will be out there taking photographs, interfering with the evidence on scene. And if you've come across this, not once, not twice, your office must put their foot down to stop some of these things.
We are doing what we can. You know, Gambia is a difficult terrain. With the newfound democracy, government think they can do anything, they can say anything. Sometimes, in fact, what they are saying is not helping even the victim or the person they intend to help. So that is there. If you said we are not doing a lot of public relations, we are. Because we have a community policing unit. That is in the field on a daily basis, talking with the community. We hope, if we look at even our new setup of our public relations office, we don't have actually a PRO. We have an office, public outreach office, where we have staffed that office and we are trying to empower them. We want people to know exactly what we are doing. In fact, that's the very reason why I'm granting you this interview after almost 1 year, 2 years as the Inspector General of Police. We need to know, because for us, we think we need to win the hearts and mind of the public, which is very key. And we know the type of officers we have. All right? We know it will be very difficult for us to police this nation without the cooperation support of the general public, because we can't do it alone, because we cannot post every police officer at every gate or door.
So earlier you just talked about community policing. I'm quite passionate about that, and I think you know my little history with your office.
Yes.
I'm baffled when I hear your institution talk about community policing. I think there is a need to have a better understanding of community policing. I know you know very well what I'm talking about, and I know you know very well when it comes to community policing. You and I have a chat about it. But we have seen a lot of police posts in the community. You go to Sukuta, you go to Manja, you go to all these places, you know, a little, you know, hot, you know, as a post, as a police station. But when you go inside there, you see a number of police officers sitting, doing minimally nothing. I'm sorry to say this.
Exactly.
So I think you understanding, you know, community policing, understanding real policing in a democratic society is actually to bring the revolution of getting rid of those police stations and make police stations that are accommodate to our today need. That is to have central police stations.
Thank you.
And get rid of all these little huts and let those police officers go on beats.
Before you move, let me tell you one thing. It's just like you're speaking in my mind. You know, the Gambia Police Force need a radical change.
Thank you.
And you need somebody to do that sacrifice. And I can tell you for free. That's what I am doing. I just needed a team to bring everybody on board. The concept of community policing, people misunderstood the concept of community policing, thinking you have to open station everywhere and the like. Recently, I just came from America. I met the Atlanta State Police and then the Atlanta Association of, we discussed about community policing. And what we are doing, they think we are doing it better than them when we explain what we are doing. But community policing now, what we are doing, we are taking it to every level. At the national level, we are asking, the Inspector General of Police is the chief community policing officer. Now we are taking policing to the doorstep of the people, not sitting at the police. You know what is, even the instruction I gave yesterday, we want 90% of our personnel in the streets, not in the station, because what we realize is all cases that we were handling are reported.
Yes.
That's not policing.
Good.
We want to prevent.
Yes.
And if we want to prevent, we need to be there.
Yes.
That's the instruction. In fact, before you come in, I just have an operational meeting with my men. If you look yesterday and day before yesterday, you can see police officers started going into the street. But what we are saying is, stop sitting at the stations. Go out there and prevent the crime. Because the more you are there, you are visible, there will be no crime. Or you will minimize the crime.
So, Mr. Sanyang, when you talk about go out there, we need accountability. I go out and I see a police officer not even having a police notebook.
Yes.
So you go to a shopkeeper and he said, you thought you kept that in your head. The next minute you go to a station, you even forgot the description they give you. So is it not by time that your police officers have what I call the police notebook?
Listen, Cisse.
Yes.
It's just like what we are doing, that's what you are telling us.
Okay.
We just order those police notebook now because we are telling a police officer, every police officer must have a notebook.
Very good.
One thing we are doing,
yes,
there are a lot of complaints, police are doing XYZ. Let me just touch this recent issue of the PIU confronting the teacher at the school, handcuffing the officer and all those things. We need that there is some kind of mistake and we address it ASAP. The moment we don't want any complaint, we call the officer, question the officer, we realize that the officer did it wrongly. And immediately the officer was reprimanded. And then we call the teachers union and we discuss and say, look, we are sorry. They got it wrong. And they accept and then case closed. Now what we are doing, because we want officers to be accountable, particularly the traffic. That's the thing you will see it. Because I don't want to be talking. I want people to see what we are doing. This notebook issue is a thing of the past. If you look aside, we have what we are introducing, what we call the body cam.
Wonderful.
Because we want officers to know that they are not masters of the people they serve. They are servants. And they need to do that. The approach, we know our approach is definitely wrong. But sometimes I don't blame the officers because do they have the training they need? They don't. If they don't know what is wrong and what is right, there is a problem. Now we are looking at the gaps. And we are saying we need a total reassessment of the force and then total retraining everybody and then we lay the foundation and we move from that. Now, when we are introducing, we're saying not only your initial training, we're going to train officers, the escalation, community policing and approach. And we are saying every officer, it doesn't matter who you are, you have to do at least 30 hours per year after your initial training. That should be compulsory.
So basically this is a follow-up question when you talk about training here. When you talk about policing, it's everybody. We develop bad habits. That's why in modern and democratic policing, they will do what is called a refresher every year. And this refresher must be accompanied by a license. I give you one example.
No, that's what you are saying. What we are saying,
yes,
if you put this policy in place, yes, that's kind of a refresher. Everybody has to do it. It doesn't matter who you are.
It has to be a yearly basis.
Yes.
And that yearly basis, it must be accompanied by a certificate.
Of course.
Which is a license. I'll give you a quick example.
For us, we are not going to get a certificate. You're going to have score points. But automatically, you need to meet those points for you even to be even considered to be promoted.
Not only promotion, Mr. Sanyang.
Excuse me. We want to put everybody to make sure you are in line with modern policing.
So this actually may not be a question. Just to buttress on that point, like I said, this is not an interview, it's more of a chat here. When you talk about the training, the 30 hours, brilliant. But can I just add this to it, and you looked at it, where you have a yearly refresher. And this yearly refresher will be accompanied by a license. So everybody who is a police officer must be licensed from the beginning of the year to do your policing. Let me say this. I talked to some of your men and women in the street, and I tried some of them. I gave them a handcuff to put a cuff on. Some of them actually have forgotten, I'm sorry to say this, how to put a cuff on. If you do a year refresher every year, And out of that refresher, you have to do all these basics, and that includes the staff.
I think you are the name refresher and the name of the training. We are telling you.
No, basically it's the same.
It's the same.
Yes, I understand.
That's what we're going to do.
Yes.
And not only those kind of a training we're going to do, we also have other trainings.
Including fitness.
Yeah, fitness. And also, in fact, we are telling every 6 months you have to go for medical fitness. What we have realized. In fact, I was a smoker. I stopped smoking because I said I'm going to lead the fitness training because I have to be in the front. You want to lead, you lead by example. That's the reason why I even stopped smoking. Because I'm preparing myself. So everybody has to go through this thing. What you are saying is very true. Because training, policing, you need to be training every time. Now what we're doing now, apart from these 30 hours, we also have training for unit heads. That makes you must pass for you to be an SO, you must pass for a particular training for you to be an OC, you must pass a particular training for you to be a commissioner, a regional commissioner. You have also must pass a particular training for you to be an OC for a unit. So we have different line training. Because what we realized, when we came, we know there is no foundation. We said we can't continue moving like this. That's why currently, because we have identified to develop almost 120 set policies. And we have almost finished with almost 30-something policies as of now. This which we want to introduce for people to understand, even procedures and standards. Like you were saying, you don't have to handcuff anybody you have problem with. When do you need to handcuff? All those things are there. Officers say, handcuff now.
And how do you take?
Exactly.
How do you handcuff the person?
And why do you want to have to handcuff the person? Is it a threat?
Yes.
So all those things officers you don't know. So all those things we are looking at. We are looking for officers to know that they need to follow procedures. I said
and where do you position the handcuff as well?
And I told the officers, look, you don't need to be afraid by doing the right thing. Because if you know all the standard procedures in policing, you don't need to be afraid. Because if we are going to account for you, we are going to account for you based on the set procedures. So once those set procedures, you master them. That means whatever you are doing, you have to do it based on the procedures. But if you don't know those procedures,
you have a problem. So
now,
just to conclude,
to add that, we're saying now, hey, we will defend you with our life, but pending you do the right thing.
Good.
So that's the reason why we are introducing this camcorder.
Yes. Body cams.
Body cams. So those body cams have to be with you, and you don't have to operate. So that whatever you are doing, you are recording yourself.
Yes.
To do it right is your problem. Do it wrong is your problem, because we are here to make sure the people we serve are secure.
Good. So quickly, we talked about the notebook. We talked about the stations going away, possibly.
Let me add this thing to the station. We know sometimes people say if you go to police stations, like the condition of the station, they're like, now we are building almost 5 stations. We are changing even the setup of the police station. We want the police station to be public friendly, not intimidating. Now we are changing the cells. We don't want to have cells in the police station. We have holding rooms in the police stations. We don't want to have where you put cell and data and everything. If you go to our modern police station, the one we are building in Serakunda, we are building one in Bundung, yes. We are building one in Bakot, we are adjusting that one.
Okay, I've seen
We are building a new one in Esau that will replace Bara police station. We are building another one in Olyundum.
So these are fantastic ideas. But what I don't agree is to have DPs, detained persons, in a police station. You come here and tell me I want all my police, officers to be in the street. Let me learn.
I don't understand what you mean. You don't have detainees in the station?
No, I don't want that.
That will detain everywhere in the station.
Let me say this.
Can you reframe your?
Let me say what I envisage or what I foresee is that this modern police station that you are building would purely be doing admin in those regions. This is it. And what you will then do is to have custody suites, whereby in West Coast, for example, you can have a custody suite, a particular place where purely is to detain people since we have the 72 hours elapsed. And there you will have a custody sergeant and police staffs who are going to be responsible for keeping the...
my brother,
yes.
Let's take it this way. Something that is workable in the US or UK is not workable here, because you need to look at the logistics also available and all those things. What is wrong in having a holding cell or holding room in a police station? Very comfortable, because what we are saying, 72 hours, we need to keep you for 72 hours if we need to. In fact, what we are saying, we are encouraging our officers not to keep people for 72 hours if there is no need for us to keep you for 72 hours. So we are trying to reduce the number. That's why, because in fact, we don't have the logistics, we don't have the means even to feed the guys. So what we are saying, have a holding room for male and female, and also for juveniles. If you need to keep somebody for 72 hours because of investigation, you do. But if we said, okay, fine, let's have a holding unit that in Kanifi you have only one, all right, where let's say the holding unit is in Bundo. You have somebody in Kairaba that you need to transport to Bundo. Sometimes you don't even have the vehicle to transport it to Bundo. What do you do?
So what we are talking about here, Mr. Sanya, we are talking about investing into policing.
Exactly.
And in doing that, you must do that in a democratic policing. Because you see, let's look at an example. What happened in Bakau, for example.
But let me tell you this.
Yes.
If you go to, I'm just from the US. If you go to US, you have the same holding cells.
No, I'm not saying...
No, if you go to UK, you have the same holding cells. Yes, it's good, but we can't implement it here because the resources are not there, because you need complete resources.
We can do it here.
Can you provide the resources for me?
We can do it, absolutely. When you contact me, we'll see what we can do. Okay. What I'm saying, because for example, if you go to a community like Bundu, you arrested CDC, for example, everybody in Bundu knows that CD is kept at Bundu police station. If they want to go after CD, they'll just go to the police and vandalize the police station.
But in the first place, why should they vandalize the police station when the police are doing just their job? Just like what happened in Bandu. That was a murder case. We arrested, within 2 days, we arrested the individual, get a confession. So what else do you want us to do?
With all normality, nobody have to attack a police station. But when abnormalities happen, some of these things happen. So I think this will close that chapter for that.
No, it will not close it, because it should not happen in the first place.
No, it should not happen in the first place.
And then people should condemn it.
Yeah, of course.
But nobody. I am not seeing people condemn it at the top of their voice.
It is unacceptable.
Exactly.
It is unacceptable. And those who were involved in that must be charged for willful damage to public property.
We did.
Absolutely.
We sent them to Mile 2 for
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But the issue is, people should condemn such kind of attitude at the top of their voice.
Absolutely.
But people are angry mob, for what?
Yeah.
For what?
So Mr. Sanyang, quickly, you joined the police for passion and you saw the pride in policing. Do you consider having the same pride in the police force of the Gambia?
Yes, it will.
It is not there yet.
We are going there, and we will be there.
You will be there.
But I'm very proud to be of even leading these institutions, because
yes.
I know where we come from, I know currently where we are, and we know now where we're going. That's why this is the first time in the history of the Gambia Police Force we have what we call a policing doctrine. Set objectives. Hey, this is where we are. Where are we going? Because we must have a roadmap. Gambia Police Force in the past, I told you I have been here for 30 years. Every IGP will come and do whatever you want to do. I can recall, I have to pay tribute to, especially one of the IGPs, though he has a short time here, IGP Kinte. When he came, he said, hey boy, we need to have policies. We need to have this police institution with set of policies, not IGP sitting doing whatever you want. IGP himself has to be guided. And he started introducing those policies. I think among the 5 policies that we are even using presently was established by him. So we need, like the French will say, en passage, we have to say thank you, bravo to IGP Kinte. And then that's the roadmap we are taking, because yes. He was a reformist.
Okay, so we can, you can talk about the pride, you want to put the pride in, but are your men and women ready for that pride?
They will.
And two,
they will.
When you talk about pride, it comes with integrity. The integrity of any institution lies on your shoulder as the head of that institution. You go out there, you come across some of your men and women, fantastic, doing a wonderful job. Absolutely. I can't fault them. But their orders were underdogs because probably they actually, like you said, they don't have the right training, or they just found themselves in a uniform. So there is a need to revamp the whole structure.
That's what we are doing. That's why, you know, I don't know whether you're getting me right.
I'm getting you very well.
Because the setups, like integrity, you talk about police, you cannot be a police officer without having the integrity. You know, in the US now, even to recruit is a problem. It's not that just that people don't want to be police officers, but the kind of quality officers they want, the kind of individual to be a police officer, is difficult to get. So that's why recruiting is difficult. Like here, we know how we recruit. That's why we are even trying to change the way we recruit. Because if you want a good force, you need to have good individuals, people who are trainable, people who have the quality. Like I went to Turkey, in their police academy. I was doing a tour with them, and then no lock. All the lockers were not locked. And I asked, why did they lock the officers lock their lockers? Said no, they are police officers. They cannot steal from each other. Integrity. But we don't expect you to do this. Police officer also, we don't also expect police officer to do X, Y, Z. That's the reason why we are bringing this body cam, because we are telling people, hey, you need to be transparent. You need to be accountable of what you are doing. People, you need to be an example. We know it will be difficult for us to be there, but we will be there,
slowly,
inshallah.
Inshallah.
Because we are determined to make sure, like, things has to change. We want to make sure the Gambia Police Force is one of the best in this sub-region. And I know, with the kind of talent we have in the Gambia Police Force, we will be there. Could you imagine, if I tell you we don't have a training school in the Gambia Police Force, now we have policing for almost 100 years or so, they cannot tell you here is the Gambia Police Force training school. This doesn't exist.
It does not.
The place we are using, Yundum, is not a training school. It's not fit for purpose. That's now, with this new administration, we are trying to build a police academy, what we call it a police village, from recruitment to master's level, just like what is happening in Turkey. We have acquired the land, we have got the plan, we're developing the curriculum, and in fact, we have even now applied to be a member of the World Police Academy Association, which we are accepted by with the backing of the Turkish. And then we are moving the training school from the Combos to the province. In people will say maybe it's from Jara Elara, but it's going to be in Kia.
I mean, they have land.
Yes.
So we use that.
So we have a land of
quickly, Mr. Sanyang, we don't have a lot of time left, and you are very generous with us as far as your time is concerned. We can't talk about all the reforms if you don't feature gender. I mean, you have a very good answer for that, because I see something going on. Yes. How is gender equality as part of your reform?
You know,
is that the easy answer? Easy question for you?
So, you know, for me, you know, it's very difficult to predict me.
Yeah.
Even officers. When I first came, people thought me, I am anti-female officers. But now people think that I'm pro-female officers. Because I have seen the talent. So that's why, if you look at, I appointed the first police female commissioner, operations. The first police female public relations officer. Young girl, talent. What I do, I recruit talent. I give it to them, because that's what they did for me. I was a small boy when I was a public officer. I was guided to be here today. I was protected. So that's what I am doing. In fact, what we are doing for gender, we are identifying young talents. Almost, we are doing 20 officers who we will train for leadership position. We are taking it from nowhere and then build them so that tomorrow they can fit. Because what we are expecting, there should be competition for the next IGP or the subsequent one, be a female officer. And
Thank
we think we have them.
I mean, when it comes to as far as gender equality is concerned, I've came in here and I've seen it for myself. I'm not trying to
we are there.
Say much as far as you've already answered for yourself, but just people also out there are seeing. When it comes to trust, this is something very important. For many years, Gambia Police Force was a very trusted institution.
Was.
Of late, people actually have certain interaction with police officers where it turns out to be not very good. I, for example, I've seen in summer where they're using a stamp, I would call it the Milfra stamp, where officers were stamping vehicles entering from the Senegalese end and just giving that stamp and for a Milfra. And we've seen traffic checkpoints where officers actually use it as a car's pocket machine. So these are things that actually needs to looked at.
Okay, see, for me, I'm the type who will not want to defend the undefendable. For me, say it as it is. We have understand all those things, and we are working on them. That's the reason why I think we wanted to implement these things. This how do you call it? How do you call it? Traffic, because most of these things are problem of the traffic. Because if we talk of the SOMO, if we talk the checkpoints, now we have a system. This system is already here. We have built the system, ticketing the system. If you look at that screen up there, the system, everybody countrywide, I'll be seeing you and then hearing what you are saying. That's the kind of system we have now. We're just waiting to implement
to roll it out
and launch it. Because we are saying, okay, you go to the traffic, there's a traffic officer, we are saying to the traffic officer, okay, you don't have to take anything from you. We are saying that to the government, we are just waiting, we have the PPP, it is at the finance, we are working on it. Do the ticketing. Give us 40% of what we are collecting, and we are giving also 10% of what the officer is collecting to the officer. So the officer don't need to take it from the guy. We will solve the corruption problem. We will also generate police money for the police, and we will also make sure people respect the traffic. That is happening everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
So that's what we have, that system. So if we say integrity, trust is there, but actually we are working on it. That's why we have
Wonderful.
the complaints and discipline. We have now, apart from the complaints and discipline, we have the professional standard.
We'll visit those offices as we finish.
And then what
this
we are
interview.
saying is, now we are trying to see, look, put the right pegs in the right holes. That's what we are doing. Even though people are saying security sector reform, but as far as we are going to police force, we are doing a lot in terms of training, in time to trying to see, rectify the problem here and there. And I'm sure within the next 2 or 3 years we will do that, because it's not difficult. Something that was spoiled for ages. You just want to think you cannot change within ages.
It's a process.
If government think that can happen, I'm telling you that cannot.
So we cannot have this interview which are not talking about the welfare of the officers, and I think you would like to talk about some of the beautiful things either you have in mind or just roll out there as far as the staff welfare is concerned. Of late, I had quite a lot of interaction with your men and women, some of which will have to go and purchase their own uniforms, their own uniforms. Not only that, when it comes to welfare, after serving or in serving a country, there are certain benefits that should be accorded to them. I don't still understand why the Gambia Police Force doesn't have a life insurance, a medical insurance. These are all things that should be on top of your agenda. And I'm sure you may be thinking about them. But welfare is very important. Like I said, I have few interaction. You have this canteen deduction, you have this transport deduction, you have this social deduction, you do all these things. But we've seen quite a number of your officers, either be run by a car or a truck. Some lady officer in Tanje was run over. Some lady officer in...
Do you know what we are doing for them?
No, I want you to tell me.
They will not tell you.
No. I'm not saying you're not doing anything for them.
We are doing everything for them.
Let me conclude.
With our little resources.
Let me conclude. I'm not saying you're not doing anything for them.
All right.
Honestly, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, I'm just, identifying some of these examples.
Allow me
and then what I want is for you to tell us what you are doing, however little it is, but we want to see more.
It's not even little. See, like this welfare direction you are talking about, some officers are just directed $25. Some officers, I think me as an IGP, I'm directed about $100 or so. That's the maximum or so, 125. But some of them 10, depending on the rank. That's the welfare fund. At the end of the month, I think when you put this money together, those deductions, it's about $125,000 per month, right? How many people are sick? How many people die? Brief talking, your family, somebody passed away, we give you something, maybe, so there are a lot of things. That welfare fund is nothing.
Yes, put the welfare fund aside. Let's talk about a better incentive.
We are doing a very, very good, because I was just discussing last week. Since last year, we have been discussing with insurance companies. What is happening in Africa, or in Gambia? When you said insurance policy, where do we have the money to pay the insurance policy? Insurance, you have to pay money. Some of these police insurance in the West, like if you go to New York, for example, it's the city that is responsible of financing it. Listen, it's not the central government.
No.
So if let me come in. I said, look, when I came, I said, look, I can't be paying a medical bill for everybody. What do I do to resolve this problem? And I'm currently discussing with some insurance company. I said, okay, now I know in a year I can have 100 officers that will be sick, that will need that kind of treatment. I told the insurance company, I am ready to insure 100 package. But the problem is, I don't want the name. It's going to be, this 100 slot belong to the Gambia Police Force. I'll pay for 100 individual. So in case any officer had a problem and needed assistance or needed insurance to cover your bill, maybe medical in and outside, we can pick one from the 100. So that's where we are at the moment. But to say medical insurance, where do I get the money to have medical insurance?
No. I mean, life insurance, you should have it. You talk about under-resourced.
No. Let me come.
Yeah.
I had a discussion with them yesterday, one of the insurance companies, because I'm still following it Twitter. I discussed, I said, okay, how much should I pay every month for every officer? I have let's say roughly, even if I have 3,000 officers, how much would I pay? Okay, they calculated, okay, you are going to pay almost 500 and something per officer. When I calculated the amount, it went to 10 million per month. I say, before I give you the 10 million for month for you to keep, I can keep that money in an account, say, okay, medical account, and then we start using by ourselves.
So I mean, you talked about all the reform, beautiful, brilliant, but you always think about the money, and it seems to have a.
I don't want to tell you how I am doing to get this force, run the force. Let me tell you one thing. You didn't allow me to answer the uniform issue.
Okay, go ahead.
The uniform issue is very difficult for me to solve the uniform, because if I want to clothe everybody, see, you are in the security. One set of uniform with the ranks and everything. Let us say, just for argument's sake, let's say $5,000 is, for argument's sake.
Yes.
I know it's more than that. Just for argument's sake, one set of uniform. An officer should not have one set of uniform per year. At least should have 2 per year. At least. They should have more than that. Okay, $10,000 per officer per year. Calculate that by, let's say, just argument's sake. I'm not saying the whole force, just say $3,000. That amount of money is not there. Now what I'm doing, very soon we will be exporting uniform. We have created a tailoring shop, whereby we'll bring our own material. We have about 30 to 40 tailors that are presently work. Maybe by December we'll start showing the uniforms. Like, look at the uniform I'm wearing. We are designing different uniform, and then officers will be giving uniform, because we're going to buy the material and then do the uniform ourselves. You don't need to go to China and buy the uniform. And along the line also, we'll be doing that uniform for immigration, for them to buy it from us at a cheaper rate. Before you go to China and buy it for this amount, you can get it here, ready-made, and then good quality, because we are doing good quality material. We want to do that for the army. We want to do it for all the security services, and we also want to do it for the private securities. Absolutely. So that will give us money, and then the profit we are making. And then on top of that, we have realized one thing, because all police institutions in the world now are doing businesses that can also earn them money.
Okay.
And what we are doing, we have realized something. When we set up their company, every Gambian student we can say 90% of them put on uniform. And the cost of uniform is very expensive. We are saying we're going to give every Gambian student a uniform that we will pay for 1 year. Like we'll give you 2 sets of uniform. If you are buying it in the market, when you show it and all those things, you are buying 600. We are saying, no, don't pay us 600. Pay us maybe 500 or 400. And that 400, don't give us our cash. Pay us monthly, maybe $50. So every parent will have 2 sets of uniform that are quality, and then you don't have to be in any person.
So you don't have an issue. You don't have an issue about raising money. You just came with a brilliant idea from one point where you can make money. Let's look at the legal framework. You know, legally, there are certain laws that are hindering your job as an institution.
Like what?
Like, for example, the local authorities. Police officers are all over the country. You go to Brikama, you have the regional operational commissioner at Brikama, operational commissioner LRR, you know, so they're there. So when you talk about the US, councils are paying. When you go to other parts of the world where councils are actually, when you are paying your rate, you are paying tax for police.
Security tax.
You are paying tax for fire service. You are paying tax for ambulance services. So it is also good for you to engage the executive in order to see how can we look at our how we can just look at our legal framework and bring certain things. And then you looked at our streets, are all filthy with parking all over the place. People cry about traffic jams. It's not actually traffic jam. It's lack of traffic management. You agree with me?
Very well.
Why are you limiting yourself to make millions in the street?
We are. If we talk to Banjul City Council, we are working on parking for Banjul City Council, and we will also extend it to Kanif. We will extend it to Brikama. Because if you look at Banjul, even in fact in Banjul, what we are suggesting is that not every vehicle should enter Banjul. There is a parking outside Banjul. If you want, you park down and take a taxi to ferry you in. If you come to Banjul, what you are going to pay will be more than what you are going to pay at the parking place.
Absolutely.
So we have less vehicle in Banjul, and then you pay less when outside Banjul, like after Gambia High also. But when you want to stay in Banjul here, you pay per hour, so that we can decongest Banjul and make sure we have the small taxis only running in Banjul. Now Banjul, during working days, you don't have to pay. But the issue is, you know, all these things we need to do it in partnership with the municipalities. Well, in fact, even this towing, there are a lot of ways that we can make money. But the issue is, like we said, legally the laws are there. But in other institutions, in other countries, that's there. It's the municipality that, because people think if you go to Europe, you call ambulance come. It's not free. They are deducting you. Police service, they are deducting you. Everything they are deducting. But if you look at even your payroll, you see it. But think like the problem of the diaspora. They are not telling the people. It can't be the problem.
So
let's come about
you want to pick a fight with the diaspora?
No, I'm not picking a fight with them. But the issue is, what do they do for them to be given the services?
Yes.
Because they pay for those services.
Absolutely.
Everybody pay the taxes.
Yes.
But here, how many people pay those taxes?
Absolutely. I agree with you.
When I was a public relations officer, I used to tell the people, Bula police be working a file, just my 500, suppose you pay you're supposed to pay $1,000 to the court, and he asks you to pay 500. Pay the 1,000 to the court, that you will benefit, then giving the 500 to the police officer, that he will benefit alone. And then many taxes are like that.
So we are running out of time. We are left with only 7 minutes. I'm just been signaled. Let's look at road accident briefly in 7 minutes. In fact, the road accidents will be a special program. But anyway, in 7 minutes.
I want to leave that one to the expert. But I would just
quickly. You know, it still all come to capacity. It still all come to our poor road signs. It still all come to our poor road lightning. It still all come to the way the license are being issued. Mr. Sanyang, it's a pain for me to sit around and see an underage child driving a vehicle, somebody in the influence of alcohol driving a vehicle, and the next day, you know, he will be back again on the road. So it is not by time we have vehicle licensing authority in the Gambia.
We're working on that.
Congratulations.
We are working.
When you do that, in fact, I will be the happiest man.
We are seriously working on that. We are also working on MOT, vehicle testing, proper vehicle testing.
Absolutely.
But we are saying If you are not fit, you should not be on the road.
And that's what is happening.
And we are saying, if you are not properly tested, you should not be given the driving license. It's not the police who will do. We have a proper office whereby you go through the processes, and then if you qualify, even though the Inspector General has the order to ensure only with that certificate that you are given the license. That solves all the problem. Dugana fi, joxna la license, egulo fofu nonu is a thing of the past.
Good.
That's the way it is, because we are not only doing it for
because
ourselves.
most of these accidents happen because it's our own making.
Because look at Gambia.
Gambia rated 4. Absolutely.
We were 8 last year.
And now 4.
But sometimes,
and kids are in the street doing donuts, driving recklessly.
Look at those things. Anytime we arrest, anytime we want to take the court, who are giving those vehicles to the kids?
Their parents. Unfortunately.
So
finally, thank you so much. But I cannot forgive myself not asking you this question. Why should the police investigate themselves?
No, actually.
Why should you investigate yourself?
Tell me in anywhere in the world. Because we are lucky that we have a lot of people who works in international. Tell me which police department doesn't have a standard professional unit. And on top of that,
yes,
we are the only police department here in the sub-region that has a human rights unit.
Okay. Perfect. You have a human rights division. You have a professional development unit.
Let me, you talk of integrity.
Yes.
You talk of honesty.
Yes.
The professional standard unit work directly under my office.
Absolutely.
The complaint and discipline unit work directly under my office. The human rights unit also work directly under my office. They don't take directive from anybody but me as the Inspector General of Police.
So I think...
But why? Because we don't want any interference from... If I tell you, people don't know. But if we tell you how many police officers we punish, some people lost their rank because of complaint from the public, you'll be surprised. Like... Just ask the teachers yesterday. When they came, we don't even discuss it.
So you have all these brilliant things happening. But when you come to best practice, Mr. Sanyang.
Like which best practice, Sidi?
When you come to best practice, I do not expect the police to investigate themselves. That's why when you looked around the world, there is what is called Independent Police Complaint Commission. That is independent away from the police.
Not everywhere.
I mean, not because Denver didn't do it,
excuse me.
Yes.
If it's working for us very well.
No, it is not working.
No, it's working for us. Tell me a case in hand that we didn't solve. Or the complainant is not happy. Tell me.
I came across...
90% of the cases that are complained are resolved and the police officer is taken care of.
Okay, so, 90%, the 10%. And also to give this image, we are talking about the image.
There is no perfect system, Come on.
There is no perfect system, but again...
We will be there.
Okay, we will be there.
Okay.
For
argument's sake, we will be there.
Okay. To conclude, and we take this, I will take this home with me.
Yes.
We will be there,
that
we will have a independent police complaint commission that will bring the pride, the integrity, as far as the police is concerned.
We are even trying to bring back the police council.
Yeah. Probably you have to look at that and look at the law and do that. Because it beats my imagination that I have to make a complaint in the police, and that complaint has to be looked at by the Inspector General of Police.
If we tell the police officer, may somebody complain discipline.
I'm told they don't sleep.
They will not sleep.
But I'm not satisfied.
No, they will not sleep. So that's the essence.
Our time is up.
Nobody wants to serve in the complaint and discipline. Because how the police officer are seeing you. Yeah. So you have a unit, we have a complaint and discipline, we have a professional standard, we have a human rights unit.
Yeah, but with best practice again.
Yeah, best practice doesn't mean that we can't have it here. So
let's move forward. Okay. Let's move forward.
We will try to be there.
Okay.
Inshallah.
Thank you so much, Inspector General of Police, Mr. Abdullahi Sanyang. Before we wrap up, I want to give you this opportunity to address the Gambian people, both at home and abroad.
Yes, what I want to say, Sidi, thank you for coming and give us this opportunity, maybe to talk to the Gambian people for the first time. But we need to understand Gambia belongs to everybody. And what also I want to assure the Gambian people, we don't have any political interference when it comes to policing the Gambia. Look at what we did the last election. We provided security for every single individual, and we were not directed. The security we give to the president, the security we give to everybody. And let me tell you this. People may say, when I was appointed, the big man called me and said, look, I'm giving you, but I want you to do it right.
When you say the big man, who is the big man?
The president.
Okay.
What is legal, do exactly what is right. In front of two different individuals, as he told me, this is going to be my witnesses. And there is never a single time he will call us to say do X, Y, Z. We work under him. We also answerable to our minister and him. But as far as we are concerned, we are doing what we think is right. Though we are not perfect, we will do mistakes here and there, and we will try along the way. But what I want Gambian people to understand is, please, the Gambia Police Force is for the Gambian people and anybody who is living in the Gambia at any given time. Wish us well. A bad force, a bad country. Because we need, that security is key.
Absolutely.
And security is everybody's business.
Absolutely.
That's why we want you to criticize us, right? But constructively. Some people will just criticize for the sake of criticizing. See, you look at the social media, some of the comments, in fact, even if we do
unfortunately, I'm not on social media.
You see, so
I come across some of them when they are saying.
What I'm saying, we are not saying we are running the best force. Absolutely. We are not saying we have the perfect win, but we are trying to be there, and we need the support and cooperation of every individual, not only Gambian, but people even live in the Gambia. Inshallah, with the type of management we have, the commitment of the officers, at least with maybe 2 to 3 years, you will see a very big change.
Thank you.
That I can assure you.
And I want to take this opportunity and congratulate you for the recent promotion that has taken place. And we have seen and heard a lot of fine young men and women who were promoted by merit. And
some people will tell you that promotion is not fair. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm here for 30 good years. But I can assure you, this was the best promotion ever happened.
We pray that you continue to look at the merit, the mirror of merit to promote. That is also very important.
In fact, that's the policy.
Once again,
performance-based.
Yes. And you know, when you talk about all the training and everything, that the use of force and all that are going to be looked at. Because that's important.
Even the most important is de-escalation.
De-escalate.
Because look at what happened in like the school.
Yeah.
But officers don't have training on de-escalation.
So our time is up, but I'll leave you with this. Their safety also matters. You know, I have a love for police, and I have a love for Gambian police, for the Gambia Police Force.
We'll do our best.
Their safety also matters.
Logistics.
Those young men and women, let's put everything in them, inshallah, you know, to be safe.
Thank you.
And also, for them to be safe, they also must help themselves.
Exactly.
As well. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Sidi.
Thank you so much, Sanya.
Thank you.
Okay.